Welcome to Empowered by Iron, hosted by Dr. Kristen Lander from Fiercely Fueled Nutrition Coaching and Mary Morton, PhD candidate and weightlifter. Together, we are Empowered by Iron. Hey everyone, welcome to Empowered by Iron. This week we are going to talk about recovery, specifically what we do for recovery, what we could do what we could be doing for recovery, and some goals that we are going to set in place as more like a challenge for us and a challenge for you to incorporate into your daily routine.
Yeah.
So I guess the first part is, what do we do currently for recovery? And this is, we're both strength athletes, so this isn't for like typical gym days. Like, this podcast is for strength athletes, people wanting to get into the strength sport. And so we have to do a little bit more to recover than the regular the regular gym goer. Would you say so?
Yeah, we have to take our recovery very seriously, because if you don't recover well and you're really sore, then your training tomorrow is going to suck. And we don't have the option to take tomorrow off, because, we can, but if you keep doing that, you're not going to get very far in your sport.
Right.
If you keep taking unplanned rest days.
Because your body is falling apart.
Right. So you've got to take your recovery very seriously. So what do you do for recovery? Because we do a few different things. You focus on, there's some overlap, but we focus on a few different things.
Yeah. So typically when I finish training, I come home and I immediately make myself a post-workout carb source and a little bit of protein. So what that has been for me since I follow a plant-based, more vegan diet, when I come home, I make myself a banana blueberry smoothie with pea protein, some flaxseed, almond milk, and then if it was like a really hard day, or if I have extra food left over, I'll put a little bit of like cereal on top, just to get some like fast-acting carbs and some crunch. So I get a good carb source and some protein right after I would train. And then while I'm eating that, I sit down and I have, it's not, what's it called? The muscle stimulator. So it's basically just pads connected to a machine that they're electrodes, and they just stim your muscles. There's a certain kind, I'm blanking.
There's like Mark Pro.
Power Dot. Power Dot is the name. So it's like Power Dot, except I'm cheap, and I got the one at Walgreens for like $30. Best $30 I've ever spent, by the way. Like, if you need something and you can't afford the $400 Power Dot, go to Walgreens. They've got a couple good options. It was $30, and it's amazing. And then after that, I usually stretch, because I train at night. So usually I'm working on our site or some podcasts, and I'll stretch while I'm listening to things or reading things.
Yeah. So I really love the muscle stimulator that you do. That's awesome. I, being a chiropractor, have that in my office, so I sometimes sneak in there after hours and use that, particularly after a really heavy squat day, or if I'm doing a really heavy squat cycle, because it just, otherwise my legs ache like crazy, and it helps so much. So that's something that I use too, although I don't do it every day, although I probably could.
It's amazing. I notice when I don't do it, it's not my legs that hurt, it's that my quads get so tight that they pull on my knees.
Yes, and then you get knee pain.
And then my knees haven't hurt for like 4 months since I've been actually taking care of my body.
That is,
imagine that.
The athletes that I treat in my office, that's the number one source of knee pain, is that their quads are just too tight, and it's pulling on they're getting either patellar tendonitis or tracking issues, because they have upstream problems in the quads, and so if they work on those regularly, they tend not to have knee pain. So I totally agree. Good job, Smarty Pants. Like that one.
Pat myself on the back for that one.
But don't you also, you do some baths, don't you? Don't you do some Epsom salt baths?
Yeah, so on particularly hard days, like if I come home and I can feel my knees, basically because my quads are getting so tight that they're pulling on my knees and my knees are starting to ache, then I'll go take a bath. And I try to keep my knees out of the hot water because it's my joint.
Yes.
But I keep my quads and
muscles.
my calves in the hot water.
Yeah, if you have joint pain, you don't want to soak it in hot water, particularly right after use. But
you want to ice.
Yep.
If it truly is your joints, ice. I mean, even if your joints hurt, there's no issue with doing ice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to hurt anything doing ice, really. Yeah, so I love the food. The food for recovery is huge, and that we did a whole podcast on this. So if you guys are wondering why Mary is eating all of these carbs after training, we both do it because we both know the importance of carbs for recovery. And if you don't know about the importance of carbs for recovery, or aren't sure how many you need or how to do it, go back and listen. I'm not sure which episode it was, but it was talking about carbohydrates for performance and for recovery. And I would go out on a limb and say that carbs after your workout are probably the most important thing that you can do for recovery. If you don't do anything else, get your carbs right. Do that right.
I'll make sure to link that in the description below that episode, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're just listening.
Yeah.
So you great time. We're going to plug our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
So my favorite things for recovery, I used to be really bad at this, even though I know better. But it's
always the people that know better that feel like they're above what, because I do the same. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what I should be doing. It's okay. This 1 week I don't do it.
My problem is always taking the time to do it because I'm super ADD and I'm super high energy, and I just spent like all focusing my attention on training for 2 to 3 hours is like all I can handle. Then I don't want to do anything else. Like I have to go work or whatever, do something. But I'm also kind of lazy when I'm not at the gym.
Oh my God.
So you're going to think this is funny that so I said that food is number 1, but my number 2 recovery tool is sleep. And it really is. I try to get at least 9 hours of sleep a night. And I know if you have kids, that might not be a reality, but get as much sleep as you possibly can. If you're running on 5 hours of sleep, your recovery is going to be shit. You are not going to be able to sustain training at a high level for very long.
No.
So I love the idea of having like a routine before you go to sleep. So set an alarm 30 minutes before you want to go to sleep, and have it go off every night, and you do the same routine every night. So when my alarm goes off, I get up. I'm usually hanging out on the couch with my husband. I get up off the couch, I go wash my face, brush my teeth, put on my pajamas. I make a magnesium drink that I like to have before bed, and then that's it. That kind of signals my brain like, okay, it's time to start winding down. And I usually start this around like 9 p.m.
So when I'm in bed.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're already asleep by then. You get up way earlier than I do. You get up really early.
Yeah.
But, and then the other thing that has been huge for me in the last year is stretching immediately post-workout.
Yeah.
So,
I remember that, because when we first met, you weren't doing a whole lot of that.
I really wasn't stretching. I was working on my mobility at other times during the day, but what I have figured out works best for me, I have a lot of mobility problems, and I just have really tight joints naturally. So do my brother and my dad. I mean, they just are very inflexible. But one thing that's really helped me is working on my mobility and my stretching when my muscles are warm.
Yes.
So that seems to have really makes lasting changes in my body. So, I spend 5 to 10 minutes. I stretch either what I just worked on, which is always legs, right?
Squat every day.
So I'm always working on my hips and my ankles and my hamstrings, and then my shoulders. And it's been an absolute game changer for me in terms of pain and improved mobility.
Yeah.
So less pain, not more pain. And then I'm a huge fan of getting a massage. I've been to hundreds of different massage therapists over the years, and I have a massage therapist that I adore. I go once a month, and she really works on issues. And if I have something that I'm really struggling with, I go more often.
Yeah.
She just really works on those tissues, and I think that really helps me recover, as well as getting regular chiropractic care, because if your bones are out of alignment, that's not going to be helpful for anything.
Yep.
And you need proper nervous flow in order to be able to lift heavy weights.
Yeah, man.
So, but I think we can always be better at recovery. We can always do a little more for recovery.
Yeah.
So we want to put out a challenge to you guys to either do some of the things we listed if you aren't doing them, or add in a couple of extra things to what you're already doing. So what's something that you want to start doing, Mary? You want to up your recovery game. What are you going to add in?
So I'd like to add in, so I say that I stretch after, but sometimes it's like 2 minutes maybe. I just sit down and just do something, or sometimes I'll come home and say that I'll quote unquote stretch, and I'll just like sit on the floor and play with my dog. So one thing that I really would like to incorporate is actually getting a good stretching session right after I work out.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of ROMWOD. Usually, because I'm such a cheapo, I don't pay for services like that because I figure you can find it on YouTube. But I've tried just looking up YouTube videos and trying to do a regimen. But I like that ROMWOD has videos every single day that are something different, and it's something I can go to immediately and just do instead of spending 20 minutes. Anyway, that's a rant. But basically, just after I work out.
Because you have a plan. It's like something new every day, or something, like it's a specific plan that you follow.
Right, and it's I don't have to search for it. Like,
right, it's just
I know
there.
that they're going to work on my shoulders, my hips, my legs, like everything I need.
Yeah.
Not to this podcast is not sponsored by ROMWOD.
It is not. You just like it. I actually did ROMWOD and like really hurt myself. My joints don't appreciate.
See, to each his own.
Exactly. My joints don't appreciate long static stretching. So I've found other methods of stretching that work incredibly well for me. But yeah, to each his own. Do what works for you. Okay, so you're gonna start adding that in.
Yep.
I am about to have my second surgery, so my recovery game is going to be, my recovery is completely different.
Your recovery is going to be sleep and eating.
Yeah, like you said. Right. But once I get back to training, one thing that I always struggle with is having active recovery days, because I mentioned I'm kind of lazy physically.
You're also really busy.
I'm also really busy.
And you love to be as efficient as possible. And
Yeah.
let's be honest, what do you get done by hiking in the woods?
Right. I have an efficiency complex. Like I have to always do things the most efficient way.
And if you're going for a trip, you got to go in 3 different places.
Yeah,
otherwise,
you know
what's
that.
the point?
My routine when I leave home.
It's like the bank.
I go to the bank, to the gym, to the grocery store, to home. I can't just go from my house to the gym because it feels like a wasted trip.
That's absurd.
So anyway, I'm going to start adding in more active recovery. So going for long hikes once a week, and then shorter 20-minute walks every couple of days is what I want to start doing. I'm really, in the back of my head as I say that, I'm really thinking, what else can I be doing while I'm doing that? So I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm gonna
Listen to podcasts.
Yeah, I'm going to
I have to
accomplish
say,
some things.
like, if you guys want to do that and do start doing active recovery, I dread taking my dog on a walk. Not because I hate my dog or anything. I love my dog and I love giving her exercise and she enjoys it so much. I just get so bored. It's a walk. I'm like, this isn't even really cardio. I mean, what am I even doing?
Right.
But I found if I find good podcasts that are informative or entertaining, or since we are in the podcast business, just listening to other podcasts and be like, oh, that's such a great idea or whatever.
Right.
I find that that's really helpful. So if you guys want to do more active recovery, I would suggest just downloading a podcast. I stick it in my bra.
Download all of our podcasts, actually, and listen to them all. But okay, anyway, or other ones too. I mean, there's other ones out there.
There's a lot of really good ones. I just stick it in my bra, and I have a speaker because my boobs act as a speaker.
The sound just comes up. All right.
So,
cool.
Guys, I would encourage you to take this challenge seriously, especially if you guys have dreams like I do to be a real legit semi-professional weightlifter. You have to start taking these things serious, and if you don't, you're going to pay consequences not just this week or next week, but in years to come when you are having huge back problems because you never decided it was a great idea to go see a chiropractor or to sit down and stretch afterwards. There's a reason that a lot of the elite athletes endorse a lot of companies such as ROMWOD because they truly do use them and do believe in them. So recover. Don't be stupid.
Right.
Don't hurt yourself.
And don't think that just because you've been okay up to this point that you're going to continue to be okay.
Right. Especially if you were me 3 years ago when I was, 21. I recover a whole lot differently between 21 and now that I'm 24.
Oh, girl, wait till you get to your 30s.
I don't want to know. I don't want to hear about it. Sweet.
Right.
Well, thank you guys so much for checking in this week. As always, Kristen has her own nutrition coaching business. So you guys have any questions about recovery, carbs, or anything, shoot her an email at fiercelyfueled@gmail.com. Yep. Or check her out on her website. She's great. I'm doing my own thing, so if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to email me through empoweredbyiron@gmail.com. If you have any weird questions or if you want to know how to use your boobs as a speaker, I'd be happy to explain how that works. But yeah, we look forward to speaking with you next week. Okay, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys. If you like what you heard today, please help us connect with other female badasses. We would love if you would leave us a review on iTunes. Tell your friends about us. Visit our website, which is empoweredbyiron.com. You can find each of us on Instagram. Mary is at MaryMo_92, and Kristen is at Kristen with an I, Lander. Future topics will include nutrition, programming and training, mental health, and just general female badassery.
Yeah, so let us know what you want to hear. If you have any input, that'd be awesome. And guys, this is Empowered by Iron. We want it to be a resource and an outlet for women who are finding their confidence, their independence, and their strength through iron. So thank you for listening. Thank you for checking in. And until next time, I'm Mary.
I'm Kristen.
And this is Empowered by Iron.